Hey, what's going on, Golferos? Welcome back to the Salud Golferos podcast. This is episode 33, and we're going to get you guys some much-needed instruction. You know, you guys, we always say one of the most important things about golf is getting an instructor, so you guys got to love us because what we did is we got Jason Hong, PGA Pro and golf instructor over at Encinitas Ranch. He's the 2024 Coach and Instructor of the Year. Yeah. So, Jason, thanks for jumping on the pod with me, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. That's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. No, this is really cool. I gotta say, man, this is the one thing, not just the one thing, but one of the things that I really love about golf.
Yeah.
And what I love about the golf community, as a lot of our listeners and followers know, we got love for the beer community. So, shout out Blue Fire, shout out Dogleg, where we're at right now. So, you know, the Dogleg crew. Yeah. Let's cheers to that, actually.
Hey,
yeah.
cheers.
Shout out Dogleg.
Salud.
Salud. and so a long-winded way of what I love about golf is that the networking piece, right? So you're a golfer. I'm a golfer. A golf-related brewery brought us to the same location. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Kev, the great networker that he is, was like, hey, Jason, Ralph, you guys need to talk to each other. You guys are in pretty deep into this golf thing. And so, yeah, man, I think that's really cool how we were able to meet that way. Yeah,
man, I think, as you realize lately, golf just brings a lot of people together.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, golf's the hottest thing lately. Everyone wants to do it. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to play it. And whether you're a stick, zero handicap, plus handicap, or just starting off, dude, we can all get along and kind of talk shop and have a passion for something that we all want to get better at.
Yep.
You know, whether it's one of those sports where you love to hate it, hate to love it. You know what I mean? One day you love the game so much and the next day you want to break it. But, hey.
You just want to break every club in the bag and maybe start over.
And, you know, there's always that saying, golf is life. It's literally as you play around, you go through all these emotions that you literally go through in life. Isn't it crazy?
Bro, facts. So, I think that's so true because, like, you know, what's the key phrase in golf? Play it as it lies.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do in life, right? Like, hey, whatever outcome happens, you just got to keep moving forward and go through that. Like, we've all been there where we hit the perfect drive, but then duff that approach shot.
Yeah.
Or you got a homie who puts it in the woods and somehow hits the most beautiful punch shot under the trees and lands on the green and reg. So that's so true, man.
Yeah.
But no, you made a really good point there that, like, right now golf is the hot thing. I would probably say we're kind of in the climax of that, right? We're going to see where this next year goes, whether we start losing golfers, keep climbing. But I mean, obviously you're an instructor, PGA Pro, which tells me you have experience. You've been doing this for a while. Mm-hmm. What is it that got you into the game of golf?
So PGA Pro, so I'm a Class A professional, and man, I've been a Class A professional since 2014, bro. So it's been almost 11 years.
Yeah.
But I've been around golf for a long time. I might not look at, you know, they say Asian don't raisin. So, you know, some people think I'm real young. I'm actually 45 years old. I know you don't believe, but I am.
Hey, man.
Right? So
you have a great skin routine.
Thank you. But, you know, just going back to as a kid, I just remember my dad was into it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Was
he instructor as well?
No, he was just a guy that was just like hooked and addicted to golf.
Yeah.
Right? So he'll be out and about on the range, just hitting balls all day, all night, and then come home late. Right? I'm like, what you been up to, Dad? Just hitting balls. I remember there was one time he hit balls so long that when he came home, he got a sunburn through his shirt on the back.
No.
Like, dude. Right?
Dang, that's commitment to the game right there, bro.
Right? And I remember I think he was doing some money games on the weekends and stuff like that.
Hey, man, if you're making that money, you got to get that hustle going.
Yeah. But, I mean, as long. I've been around for so long, but I wish, we always say, I wish I started younger. I wish I did, because as I can remember, he used to take us to the range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened? He didn't take us to the range to teach us. He took us to the range just so we can kind of be around and his hitting balls.
Babysitting away. Yeah. Like you run around while I do my thing.
So we're running around, and I remember like he's hitting balls, and I'll just grab random clubs out of his bag, not knowing what it is. I think it was a 2-iron back in the days, which was popular. And as like
little butter knife out there?
Yeah, like 7, 8-year-old kid. I'm like, don't know what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing the club. I'm like, oh, there's a ball. I'm trying to hit it. I remember trying to hit that 2-iron. And I mishit the ball. It hurts so bad. I'm like, this is done, right?
Yeah. You just said that, and I felt that right now in my hands, bro.
Bro, that butter knife should not exist in this day, but
yeah.
But it is one of those clubs. If you ever do hit it pure, it's the best feel.
It's so good, man.
The confidence that's you build from it.
That's the addicting part,
right? Yeah.
That's the addicting part,
yeah,
bro.
man.
So you're a range brat, as we would say.
Yeah.
You're out there on the range, and
yeah.
But what was kind of that moment where you're like, okay, like I wanna pursue this?
Yeah. So long story short, I was in the Navy from '98 to 2003.
All right, on. Thanks
the U.S.
for your service,
Navy. My first duty station was China Lake, Ridgecrest, California, and my last duty station was Whidbey Island, Washington.
Okay.
And when I got out, I moved down to like Redondo Beach, Torrance area.
Hey, shout out Redondo Beach, yeah.
And then my ex-wife's dad, my father-in-law, he was a scratch golfer.
Okay.
And then, when we moved down, we stayed with him for a little bit. And because he's a scratch golfer, every time he went to the range or went golfing, he would take me with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kind of gave me a few pointers, kind of got my interest back in golf. Like, so it started. So I've been around golf forever, but my golf, me really getting into it and playing, didn't happen until I literally got out of the Navy, which was back in 23.
Okay.
Right? So, but then I remember once he did that, he gave me a few pointers, and after hitting that one pure drive, it was over. I was addicted. I was hooked. I'm like, I want to repeat that feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I think I got this natural. I think a lot of golfers, we got the natural addictive personality, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Like I would literally think about it 24/7, hit range, read magazines, Golf Digest, and then
it's crazy how much studying we will do for golf, but we won't do for other shit.
Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be passionate and love it, right? Whatever we love, we'll get into it a little more.
Put that work in, yeah.
But literally after a year of like practicing and playing, I started shooting in the 70s. Bro.
Wait, how long?
Within a year.
Within a year?
I started shooting in the 70s.
You're a fiend, bro.
Yeah.
You're a fiend.
But I didn't know. I'm like, I thought that's what we were supposed to do, right?
I'm progressing quickly.
I see my father-in-law shooting in the 70s. I feel like that's what I need to start doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, and then, you get your birthdays and Christmases. You're like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? Golf stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's golf stuff.
Oh, yeah.
More balls, more clubs, whatever. And then I remember playing and beat my father-in-law for the first time.
Within a year?
Yeah, within a year. And he wasn't happy.
I was about to say, he must have been heated,
he
bro.
Was not happy.
Heated.
It's like, and then I remember him telling me, it's like, there's a lot of golfers out there that's played 5+ years that has yet to break 80. I'm like, no way. So, that just made me realize, I'm like, oh, damn, I got something. But you remember how, like, when you're not in the golf industry, I would play golf, I don't care, 5 a.m, first tee time, when it's freezing, I don't care, raining, I don't care, I am getting my money's worth and playing.
Yeah.
And then 36 holes, give it to me now. I'm like, 36 holes, that's a lot of holes.
Yeah, oh, bro.
After 18, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired, right?
I can always tell a new golfer when they have, like, the bug, and they're playing.
Yeah.
And then we go out for that, that birthday round or whatever, like you said, and then they're wrapping up, and I was like, let's run it back. Let's get 18 more. And that's like, oh, you're young in this game, bro. You're young in this game.
You're right.
Oh, man. That's so true, though. But that's crazy.
Yeah,
so
man.
Just a little over a year, and you're beating your father-in-law, who's a scratch golfer.
Yeah. Long story short, so, growing up, I've had a lot of different careers, right? So, grew up in Guam. So I'm Korean by blood. So I was born in Korea. Left Korea when I was 5. Moved to Guam.
Okay.
The way I explain it, it's mini Hawaii, right? It's a little island.
Yeah.
Marianas Islands. And then lived there for a little bit. Moved to LA for a little bit from like 86 to like 89, right before. I don't want to mention, but LA riots that happened.
Shit
right?
got wild, yeah.
So luckily, I left before that happened.
Yeah.
And then went to Guam and pretty much stayed there till I graduated high school back in '98. So like being there, I feel like I got the people on the island accepting me, as family. So I feel like I'm part islander as well. They accept me half a day, right? So, and then Navy's done. Her parents, they moved to Arizona.
Okay.
Right? So my ex wanted to be with her family, so we moved to Arizona like in 2005, 2006. And I remember once I got there, job I had to get right away. I sold cars for a little bit. You wouldn't believe it, but yeah, I'm a car salesman. What's up, man? I'm selling you a car. But one thing about car sales is I think it's the best training to be a salesman. You know what I mean? I think it's you are going in the deep ends, just experiencing everything. So that was a great experience. And then worked in the corporate world, American Express. And then, so me having been in the Navy, after like I was in there, they had like a GI Bill where after you get out, within 10 years, if you don't use the GI Bill, which is like a college fund,
right,
you lose it. So right before it expired, I remember I'm like, dude, I need to go to school for something. And then, back in the days, Golf Academy was very popular on the Golf Channel. So I'm like, oh, I want to do something golf. I thought I was going to go there, but found out that they had a professional golf management program at Arizona State University. So I signed up for ASU.
Dang, bro, you a Sun Devil?
Yeah, I'm a Sun Devil.
Dang, I'm a lumberjack, bro.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, bro. Yeah, Arizona, we good, right?
I just playing. Yeah. Sorry, what you were saying?
Yeah. I got my business management degree and my PGA accreditation Class A from ASU. So that's how we did that. And then, long story short, usually when we're getting our Class A, the path a lot of us would want to take is probably like a head pro, general manager of a golf course, run a golf course, and or the other route is teaching professional. So I did all that, and then once I got into teaching, I've always kind of liked teaching. Growing up, I was in martial arts. I taught a little class here and there, and I found my true passion. Right, I'm like, oh, I love teaching. I love helping everyday golfers, people that never sliced all their life, and then all of a sudden you teach them how to draw something. You're like, oh my God! So it's the reward. That's like the instant gratification that I get when I kind of get someone that thinks that it's like the worst. The line I get is I'll get a guy's like, hey, I've seen other instructors. You're my last hope. If you can't get me better, I'm quitting. No pressure.
Dang, that's
no
a lot
pressure,
of pressure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my goal is how do I get you better? And I love trying to figure that out.
Right.
I think I'm just a really good troubleshooter because when I was in the Navy, I was an airplane mechanic. So I had to troubleshoot when airplanes went down, broke down, and how to fix it. So I'm literally a troubleshooter for each student that I get and find out what your main problem is and kind of get to the root cause of it and fix that root problem first before we kind of add things, right? So I think that's where, and I don't know, I love talking golf and being around it all day, every day. So you can talk to me about it all day. So, yeah, anyways.
Dang, that's really cool, and that is a lot of pressure, man. Like someone says you're my last resort, and hey, man, there's a reason you won Coach of the Year 2024. So congrats to you on that, and that's really awesome. So kind of getting into your process. So you said you're a troubleshooter.
Yeah.
You kind of want to dissect and figure out what somebody is going through. What's kind of like your process in the sense of troubleshooting? Like, what do you look for?
So, a lot of instructors have their own like philosophy. And so every year as a PGA professional, we have to kind of ensure we continue education, make sure we're up to date with the, latest teachings and information, right? So I'm all about just kind of gathering and gaining. I love listening to every and all instructors, right? So, because from every one, some philosophy might not fit mine, but there's parts of it that I'm like, I like this area. I like what they're teaching here, so I'm going to try to grasp it and kind of fit it to what works for me. But I realize like golf in itself is very complicated, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's very complicated. We almost have our own language, right? And there's so much to learn. So it's like at the end goal is like, what do I need to do to simplify it? Right. There's always that saying, less is more. So, one of my favorite instructors or coaches is the famous Butch Harmon.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods and all that. But, I've been to one of the teaching summits where he was talking to us and, letting us know how he teaches and what he does. And I feel like I kind of, I like to teach the way he teaches. He simplifies it, right? He said this one thing where at the end goal, it's not about getting too technical. It's about finding the root, the cancer of this person's swing. What's the main cancer that's causing all the issues? Get to that main root cause, the cancer, and fix that first and go from there. But the way I do it is I literally look for more, whoever you are, in whatever we try to learn, sports, piano, when you're trying to learn music, it's, hey, when things go bad, what do we say? Go back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Right?
Fundamentals.
So, biggest thing when I see someone, I'm like, okay, let me see what you're doing. Because we're all made differently. So I'm all about, I like to say, hey, swing your swing, right? We're not going to be cookie cutter. We're not all going to look like Adam Scott, right? We're built different. We have mobility limitations. So if you have injury, you're not going to be able to turn like Rory McIlroy or whatever, right? So it's like, let's find out what your swing is and fine tune the fundamentals and kind of make it a little more consistent, right? So I'm not the guy that I'm like, I want to transform, because if I do, then you're not going to be able to play golf for a year until you ingrain it. So all I do is I simplify, go back to the fundamentals. Remember this acronym, GRASP. So GR.
Okay.
ASP.
Okay.
GR is for grip.
Okay.
So I'll look for grip, kind of make it somewhat fundamentally sound, not overly strong or weak. Aim alignment. Make sure if there's our target, let's make sure our feet, hips, and shoulders are all kind of pointing that way. Stance, you don't want to kind of shoulder width apart. You don't want to be doing the splits, you know what I mean? Or feet. So there's a good stance, and then posture, right? We kind of want that neutral spine, kind of good athletic posture, where whatever you do throughout the whole swing, you're feeling nice and balanced, right? So if you can clean those little areas out.
That's so huge. I'm sorry to cut you off on that one, but we were, so before the pod, guys, we were talking about some of the troubles I've been going through this past week, and posture always comes back. Like, one of the things, I don't know why it's my last thing to check for myself, but we all do it. I'm a living room swinger. I got the clubs in the living room, and I'm swinging on carpet. And there's just like sometimes where I'm just like, wait, all my weight is on my toes. Why am I not just like square? So I like that you have that in your acronym there, like posture. That's a great one.
Grasp. Remember, it's simple, because then if I, as an instructor, even as a student, because at the end goal, like as I teach something, I always like to explain the cause and effect on why we're doing something. Like, I'm not going to be just changing your grip because I just want to, because it looks better for me, right? Like you could be like a Matt Wolf. Matt Wolf's very steep, shallow. Jim Furyk, got that massive loop. But if you're doing whatever you're doing and can make the ball go straight, why would I change that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing whatever you're doing and it works out and you're consistent, I'm not going to change that. But if you do what they're doing and you're spraying it all over the place, we got to change something.
Got to fine tune it,
because they're special. They're specially talented. They're athletes. They've done it a million times, so they know how to loop it and square it up. Right. Or even the overswingers, like a John Daly, where the club's almost about to touch the ground. Hey, I'm not hating. If you do John Daly and can hit it like John Daly, I'll let you be. But if you are spraying it all over the place, we gotta tone that down, right?
So would you say that for folks that are coming to you to be coached, is it a lot more of like the 15 plus handicappers or more of newer golfers? What do you feel is kind of like your audience, or is it a mixed bag?
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I love working with all level golfers. I've worked with people that's never touched the club in their life.
Okay.
To tour aspiring players, right? Some they're playing in like the mini tours and stuff like that. So it's a good mix, and I love working with all of them. So even the beginners, they're the tougher ones, but I really like it, right? So I love a challenge, right? So the tougher you are, the better it is for me because it's my goal, and it drives me to how do I fix this guy? What do I need? And sometimes I lose sleep on trying to figure it out, even after our lesson, because I really I'm just really passionate and really care. When you come see me, I'm not like, hey, here's a little Band-Aid fix, get out of here. No. Like if you're committed, I'm committed to your game as much as you're committed. So I'm like, how do I get this guy better? Because I want you to hit it straighter, tighter dispersion, more consistent. Because my goal is, as a PGA, we're always trying to promote the game of golf.
Yeah.
And I want you to stay in love with golf, and the better you hit the ball and more consistently, you start getting more addicted to it, right? So I guess in a way I'm I don't know, selfish because I want you to be as addicted to golf as I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to be alone on this, bro. Come on. Share the addiction, right? So if I get you better, let's go. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I like what you're talking about there is like, as far as speaking about the beginning golfers, you want to help them. You want to get them as addicted to the sport as we are.
Going back, so backtracking. So beginners, I like beginners because I can really set up a good foundation and fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like if I can set you up with a good foundation and fundamentals, when things start going bad, you can almost break it down and find out what the cause is, right?
Get back to it, yeah.
There's times I'll just, like the alignment, if I get you aligning better posture, and then you're swinging down the target, like the path is better, and the ball goes all over the place, and guess what? It's not your alignment, it's not your path, it's a club face issue. Oh, now I can take that out. I'm like, oh, it's just a club face. Let's figure out how we can square that face, whether it's with a better grip or better setup with the club face. And you know what I'm saying? So it makes it easy for me to kind of troubleshoot what the problem is. And then also down the line, when things go bad for you, when you're golfing, you're like, oh, I know why that went left. It was more of a club face issue. So now you kind of know the correct things to correct. Not, I have no idea what that did. Let me change this. And if you're changing something that wasn't the problem, you just even made it worse.
Yeah.
Now
we're all over the place.
Now I can't. Now you're like, I'm quit. I'm quit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I pictured that like a Rubik's Cube. You're like, you start messing with like the wrong colors, and now you've just mixed it up even worse. And it's like, so no, I get what you mean by that.
And then I like to say, like, for each student, each person, I'm like, hey, we found your formula. This is your formula that's working for you, right?
Yeah.
Just a little better alignment, better grip, boom, we're good.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, man.
No, that's good. I like that you get back to basics. I think that's really important. Like you said, you kind of get back your formula. Like, what's my formula? Let's get back to there. So with a beginning golfer, like you said, everyone's different. A golf swing's like a fingerprint. It's yours. No one's gonna have it exactly the same. But I feel there a lot of us will start to get the ball up in the air. We're starting to hit a lot more of the targets that we want to see. But at what point do you say, okay, like we have the basis, we have the fundamentals. Do you start then progressing to like course management as far as a coach, or is it strictly just like fine tuning the swing?
Yeah, so there's a good balance, right? So I mean, it's because you don't want to be just a range rat. You don't want to just but before you just go out onto the wild, I like to say golf course is the wild, man. There's a lot going on. Water, bunkers, tight fairways, trees, bro. Right? Friends watching you. You're like, hold up. So let's at least try to be a little more consistent on the range. When there's a lot of, if there's no pressure and you can kind of hit some, then you'll do better. Like if I gave you 10 balls and I'm like, here's a 100-yard target, and then like I'll give you like a 15-yard wide green. Give me 10 shots. how many of the 10 can you get it in the vicinity? So the higher the number, like say you're like, oh, I could get 8 out of 10, confidence goes up. You're like, oh, on a golf course, 8 out of 10, the
I
odds
can
are
make
they're
that
good.
shot.
Not
Yeah.
if you hit 1 out of 10, bro. That's what's going to happen on the golf course. Maybe that 1 out of 10 will get on the green, but the other 9 is off the green. So it's the over time. You know, you want to know, you know, at least kind of hit some consistent shots, and then once you get a little more consistent, then down the line, I would say then we can talk about course management. But if you don't have a consistent shot, what's the purpose of me telling you about course management? Because if I tell you to hit on the right center or right fairway, and you shoot it left, what good was that? You know what I'm saying? So there has to be there's a blend down the line, but in the beginning, I'm like, I need you to know how to do the basic stuff, right? Chip it better, putt it better, because I always like lately the way we teach, I like to start from the green back. I want you to know how to putt better, right? Like the little 3-footers, 6-footers, right? Let's putt better. Yeah. And then let's work on little chips. Let's make sure you can chip it on. And then from chip, let's do pitch shots where you can do 20-yard pitch shot, 30, 40.
So is that normally your cadence then? If you have like a brand new golfer, you go green. Dang, that's smart.
Because if you can't do the small swing, how do you expect to do the big swing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then because I need you to start having some kind of repeatability and consistency. If you don't, then even as a club fitter, how am I going to fit you to what swing? You literally gave me 5 different swings for the 5 shots you just hit, right? So there has to be. So I always like to start small. I'm like, hey, little motions are easier to do, right? Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do waist to waist motion, and then we go 3/4, and then bring it to a full. But I always do it to where, like in the beginning, if I have my way, I'm like, hey, whether it's a wedge or just pitching wedge, I'm going to want you to master it to where this pitching wedge, if I give you 5 shots, it's going where I want to go. And then from there, then I'm like, let's go 9-iron, 1 club up. But give me the same swing, right? Because, you know, like from a pitching wedge, sometimes we go to 5-iron. Oh, it's a different swing. It's going long, so let me muscle this. I'm like, dude, that's not the swing, right? So if, you know how a lot of tour pros, even John Daly's, Tiger Woods, we like to say, hey, the tempo that you have with the pitching wedge should be the same tempo you have with a 5-iron. Not try to be faster, right? So I like to say, hey, let's make sure the engineers that built the club gets their money's worth. Make sure they're working for the money, because they literally, each club as it goes up, it's like 1/4 inch longer, and then loss are like 4 degrees stronger. Just because of that design. If you do the exact same swing, it should automatically go further. You know what I'm saying?
Let the club do the work.
So, and then once you get better on the range, then if we have the luxury and the time, then let's take it to the course, because, you know, in the course there's a lot of different circumstances, lies, you know, trees. Then you can get a little more creative and stuff like that. But let's just keep it simple. Let's hit some better shots, because on the golf course you're going to start doing some weird stuff. Even as I'm teaching some students, because, you know, there's some stuff that needs to change. Like, hey, if I could have maybe for a month, just kind of grind it out on the range until because it's one thing to know how to do it. It's another thing to do it enough till you trust it. I need you to trust that swing. Right? So then you can take it on a course, trust it. If I just feel this, I know the ball's going to do that. So,
So, you kind of sparked a thought there. So, you know, you're talking about, you know, getting on the range and making sure that you can repeat your swing and be consistent. I think what a lot of people, and I think as you progress in your golf career, you know, our career, we start to realize, like, hey, like, what am I doing on the range to improve? Because there's a lot of us that only start off, we'll go get the jumbo bucket, and we'll just start hacking at balls, hoping that, you know, we improve. But do you kind of have like a routine that you'd be willing to share on here, and like say, like, what should a golfer be doing when they get to the range?
Awesome. So, and then there's always the question, right? Like, even at a certain level, when we do hit a lot of balls or get to a certain point, we're like, hey, I'm hitting it awesome on the range, right?
I'm a range hero, bro.
I'm a range rat. I'm a range hero. I feel like I'm, you know, Rory McIlroy on the range, and then on a golf course, you're a zero. Like, you're like, what's going on? Because there's the two different aspects of range and golf course. So range, you can hit 1,000 balls.
Mm-hmm.
Same lie, same and then there's no water. You don't, range is 50, 100 yards wide. You don't care where it goes. You're just whacking at it. So you're just mindlessly hitting at balls, or sometimes you're creating a good tempo. So when you get a good tempo, no matter what the swing looks like, you can somehow time it and then square up the ball and make it go a certain way, right? So there's no pressure, right? So that's the biggest thing. But then when you go on a golf course, there's all the different variables. The tee box is trying to point you a certain way. There's some trees there, water there, bunker there. So you start death gripping that club, and there you go. There's your swing. It just went out the door, because that's not how you hit it on the golf course or on the range.
On the range, right?
So it's a different beast. So the best way to get better for everyday golfers, if you kind of grind it out, practice with a purpose, right? So there has to be I always say, hey, whatever you do, there's got to be a better intention. Like, when you're hitting this, what are you trying to do? Or what are you aiming at, right? Even on the range, there's a couple of different targets. So, hey,
the flags,
there's a little 100-yard shot.
Yeah.
Dude, work on that. Align. Let's make sure your alignment's good. And let's say, hey, here's 10 balls. Try to get the 10 balls to that same vicinity, right? So now there's a target. You got the direction and distance that's more consistent. You're like, oh, my pitching wedge gets me there all the time. So if you're ever on a golf course 100 yards out, here's my trusty club that on the range, I'm like, yo, I hit it this yardage every time. So now if that's what you think you're going to do, and boom, there you go. Now, and even like drivers, I know, we just spray it, but hey, make like a fake fairway. I'm like, hey, let's dial it in here. I need to be inside this and this. I need to hit all my drives within this. That's a fairway. Then there's a better intention. Right? And then you can start trusting, like, hey, I know how to better align myself, because when I set up this way, I have this like consistent draw, or I'm going to play a cut or fade. And then when you're on the golf course, like even like before a round, I'm like, hey, try to play out the course, right? Or even like, say you're playing at a course and you're like, hey, envision that last couple drives that you're hitting, like as if you're teeing off on that first tee box. What are you trying to do? Like, oh, it's a dog leg left, so I'm going to try to work on some little fade shots on the range, and then so you're better prepared when you're on the tee box. So practice with a purpose.
No, that's a really good point. One of the things I like to do, and I don't know where I picked this up from, but if I'm going to go play a new course or something like that, or if I have like a competitive round coming up and I played there, I'll pull up the scorecard, and so I'll mentally play the course. So like, I'm on the range and I'll go, okay, par 4, 300 yards. Do I really need driver? No, let me work a 5-iron. Let me hit a 5-iron, because for me, and it's just me, if I'm hitting the 5-iron well, I'm going about 210. So hit 210.
Yeah, bro, 5-iron 210.
Bro, but but see the consistency factor. That's my thing, the consistency. So I'll go anywhere from 200 to 210. And then I'll know, okay, that leaves me like 100, maybe 120 yard shot. Work that shot next. And so I'll mentally just play out the round.
That's very wise and smart of you. I like that you do that.
Thank you.
A lot of students too, that I'll have some, like, I work with some high school students that's playing in tournaments and whatever, or anyone that's like, hey, I'm playing in a tournament here. I tell them to bring me the scorecard. And then during our sessions, with my launch monitor, I'm like, okay, the first hole is 400 yards. Let's play it. All right, boom. 250-yard drive. You only got 150, whatever. And then you can literally, I like them to play it out. So, and then I like what you're doing, because if we can take the ego, for some reason we always think when we're on tee box, we got to hit a driver. No. If you're slicing it all day, why are you even hitting a driver? That driver better be more consistent on the range before you just take it out and think it's miraculously going to be straighter on the golf course under all that pressure. It's going to be worse, right? So there's this one, I forgot the name. He literally, I almost want to do it too. I'm like, hey, if you ever come see me, I will guarantee that I'll save 3 to 5 strokes or your money back. That sounds pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the trick he did, I mean, I trust. I honestly believe I can, because all the people that I work with, and I'm very results oriented. But his trick was he literally will do a playing lesson with a guy and see that he just slices the drive OB all day. So next time he plays with the kid or whoever, he literally will take the driver out of his bag.
Yeah.
Now he has to use a 3-wood, 7-iron, or an iron, and then he's finding fairway. And there's all these extra strokes that he just saved by not being OB. Right?
Yeah.
There's the extra 3 to 5 strokes.
Those
automatic.
penalties add up so quick. And then what everyone has to think too is that, like, okay, yes, the penalty is only 1 stroke.
Yeah.
But if it's off the tee box, that's
stroke and distance. Sometimes.
Stroke and distance. Yeah. So like, I do it where it's like I hit one out and it's like, okay, I went out over by that tree. I'm just gonna drop. But like for those that want to improve and actually get better at the game, it's like, no, if you went out, you're
I mean, like if we're trying to get technical, there's some like there's out of bounds stakes, like the white ones. That's you lose stroke and distance. And if it's a red, you kind of do a lateral drop, right?
Right.
So really, depending on what it is, I'm like, hey, so yeah. Sometimes you got to place. And then we're talking about the course management. Yeah. So there's all this on the range. I'll teach you, but I do love getting out with the students and doing, course management, playing lesson. Just to give you the tips on what to do on a golf course. And I like to see what my students actually do. I'm like, okay, I personally like to do playing lessons with students I work with because I know what I work with them on.
Yeah.
To where when we're on the golf course, I'll be like, hey, where are you aiming at? Like on the tee box, I'll ask some students, hey, where are you trying to hit it to? I'll get it. I don't know. You don't know?
I'm just going in that direction.
You're just standing up and hoping that it somehow no, you need to pinpoint, there's a chimney on that house. I want to kind of hit it off that and fade it off or draw, whatever.
Yeah.
You better come up with something. You better have better intention.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know where you're gonna hit, then the ball doesn't know where it's gonna go either, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, you're just swinging
like,
and swinging at that
you're
point.
like, why did it go there? I'm like, I don't know. Where were we trying to? You can't. You better know. Even if you gotta lie to yourself, right? Hey, just have a better intention, and then I always tell my students, hey, tell me what you're gonna do on this hole, because then it makes them slow down and literally kind of tell me the shot that they're trying to do, right? They're like, I want to kind of fade it off.
Yeah.
Then there's a better intention. Almost you visualize that, right? And then whatever you can kind of see in your brain, sometimes, boom, the body will do. Instead of, I don't want to hit it into the water. And you just see your ball going in the water, you step over it, hop back, snap back into water, right? So it's not, don't tell me what you don't want to do, tell me what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so true. Yeah. That happened to me the other day where I was playing and it's like, I'm hitting all these great shots. I go and I hit a great tee shot, and the next thing you know, there's water in front of me. And I'm like, as long as I don't go in the water, I'm fine. Yeah. But I've already put that negative thought in my head. Next thing you know, top it, rolled into the water, and I'm just like, come on, man, what am I doing?
It's amazing how, and they always say what, 30% physical, 80%, I don't know, 70% mental, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that percentage is. But there's a lot of mental aspect in this game, so I kind of like the challenge of that, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, how do I figure this out? Like, there's times, even sometimes when I play a lot or don't play a lot, I'll get that. We all get the butterflies even at the tour level, right? And then you just got this tension. Like, how do I calm myself down from that? Yeah. So that's the next level on. Hey, that's the pre-shot routine, right? Get in your little zone, and control what you can control, right? And then whatever happens with the ball happens, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. So you were talking about something there that I thought was really cool. So you like to get on the golf course with people that you coach and more consistently.
Yeah.
So with them, do you essentially almost do kind of like a caddy session where? Or how does that work?
So let's talk about it. So during a playing lesson, it's almost like a caddy.
Yeah.
But it's more of having you understand how to manage the golf course better, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So if you're a fader of the ball, there's a tee box. Where do you align yourself to? Where are you going to put the ball?
So for me, when I fade, I go to the right side of the tee box and aim left so that it'll fade back.
And then you go to the far right, you get a wider fairway to miss.
Yeah.
Right? It makes the fairway more wider, because then if you go to the far right, aim down left center, right? Mm-hmm. If you hit it somehow straight, it's left center. And if you fade it, it'll go to center or right center.
Right.
Not if you're hugging the left side, you literally can only go straight or slice it off OB to the right. So that tee box in itself, you can give yourself a wider fairway by teeing it up in the proper spots.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows that. Right? So if you're a drawer, you go far left so you can go down the right center. And if you hit it straight, because you'll know that pros, not everyone's going to hit it pure exactly where they want it. They play for their misses. You've heard that before, right?
100%.
So if I'm going to miss somewhere, like if there's a par 3 green, there's water left and rough right, I'm going to aim a little further right to where if I don't quite draw it to the flag and I push it, it's right rough. I still have a chance for an up and down. In the water, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not about how pure can I hit all the balls, but hey, if I miss it, where do I miss it, and make sure I can get it up and down and, salvage a par bogey at worst, not double or triple.
Yeah. That was a lesson, honestly, I didn't learn until about 2-3 years ago. Yeah. So I was playing the exec over here, and this buddy and I, we would play consistently there. And you played there, right?
No, yeah.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hole 5, that little downhill par 3 with the trees running along the right.
Okay, yep.
So
right after the dog leg par 4?
Right after the par 4, yeah. So we were playing that hole a lot, and I would line up on the right side, and so basically up against the trees. So I'd hit my shot, and if I fade it, I would keep hitting into the trees. Yeah. And my friend goes, bro, he goes, you're aiming to the right. You're lining up on the right. Sometimes you hit a fade, the trees are on your right.
Yeah.
He's like, why not just move to the left side of the tee box? And that just like blew my mind. I was just like, bro, you are so right. Because my thought process was the right side is aligned with the center of the green. So if I hit a straight shot, I'll hit the flag. But like you said, we got to play for our misses.
Yeah.
So in this instance, if I line up on the left and I aim at the flag, I can hit the flag if I hit it straight. But if I fade it, I'm right green.
Yeah, you're still safe. Yeah.
And so, that's crazy. I love how you're explaining that right now with the misses and things like that. And
and it's crazy too.
Listen to the PGA Pro. He's telling you.
Yeah, it's just because once again, there's so much to think about in golf.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as simple as that sounded, we're already thinking about too many other things. You don't even think about that. What we think is obvious, it's not obvious.
Right.
So the best thing is, even for an adult, the best way I get through the adult is the same as if I almost talk to the adults as if I'm trying to teach a kid. Mm-hmm. You got to simplify, dummy down, but just more simplified because, there's a saying, Tiger Woods like to say, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Simplify it. And then once you understand that, then I can get all fancy and make you think I'm all smart and stuff and say super nation, pro nation, all that fancy words. But
all the terminology.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, he must know a lot. No, dude, I need to keep it simple for myself too. Yeah. Right? So I don't want to be breaking out a dictionary for everything you try to say to me. I'm like, hold up, dog. Because then, I'll get this. I'm not going to say anything, but I get a lot of students that's like, hey, I've went to other instructors. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten better.
Right.
And then before I just try to impose what I try to teach on you, I'm like, what have you learned from the other instructors? Is there something that they taught you that's working so I can kind of piggyback and go, work on the same things or kind of get you on the same path? Mm-hmm. And some will be like, I don't know. It's 30 minutes. I hit a couple balls, and then before I know it, it was over, and I felt like I didn't learn anything or got better at all. I'm like, that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, I'm just wired differently to where if you come see me and we're working on something, I get obsessed to where I'm going to say whatever I need to say to you 10 different ways till you understand it, right? Till like the analogy works for you and you hit a shot that I want. I need to see a shot that I want you to hit.
Yeah.
Right? And I want you to see it too, to know that, hey, if we work on this, there it is. There's a result.
Yeah.
Not top balls for an hour and get out of here.
Right.
Are you serious, man? I'm never going back to that coach again, bro. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so I don't know. I'm very like results oriented to where I get obsessed on trying to do whatever I can to make you understand on how to hit the better shot that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know?
What is what's been like the craziest, and maybe not craziest, but what's probably been the most difficult session that you've ever had with someone? Like someone that's like really raw and like essentially what I'm asking is, have you ever had anyone come to you where like you can't help them get the ball off the ground within one session?
You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but no, I mean, like, I figure out ways to make you hit it better. Or, like, you know, there's times it's not always just about hitting balls, right?
Yeah.
I'm very much, I like a lot of forcing you to do field drills,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
The people that come over the top. I can tell you, hey, I need you to drop the hands under your armpit, shallow it down, feel like the club's going to slide down the wall, and then go. I can tell that to you.
Yeah.
But people, if they don't know what that feels, they don't know how to do it.
Right.
They're like, I know you told me that, but they'll still come over the top. So it's like, I need to force and set up something where you have to get shallow. Like, you know, the simplest thing I like is like a alignment stick that just goes right over the stick at like a 45-degree angle, and you got to swing under that stick.
Yeah.
Because if you come over the top, it's automatic feedback. You're breaking that stick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as uncomfortable as it feels, it makes you as the student figure out, oh, this is what I had to feel to do it.
Yeah.
Because your feel is way different from my feel. So I can't just tell you this is what I feel. I'll make you do a drill, get you to positions, and ask you, what do you feel when I get you here? And you're like, dude, I feel like my hands are touching the ground. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's what you need to feel, and drill it until it feels better, right?
Yeah.
So I like to say, but if we're drilling something that's actually beneficial, I need you to make that uncomfortable feel comfortable. Drill it in, right? Muscle memory.
Right.
As much as you hit this other swing, I need you to do the better swing that many times in a way, right?
Yeah.
So
how do you so when you're coaching that, right, obviously like you're there to say, hey, like this time you were throwing a little bit more, or you're a little too high on that. Obviously you're there to provide that feedback, but you know, a golfer is going to say, hey, perfect, Coach Hong just taught me this, I'm going to go take it to the range for the next few days before I see him again. Like, do you recommend that your students go get in like a bunch of range sessions in between seeing you, or do you say like, hey, like,
so I'm if you can, I want you to. Like, so this is how I work. Anyone newer, and if there's something that we're trying to work on, to be realistic, I like to set up some kind of a program or a package thing where I'm like, hey, if you're really trying to take it to the next level, I need you to commit, say within the next 2 to 3 months, where if I had it my way, I almost want to see you on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Right? If that's possible. I'm like, hey, let's do it. Because then whatever I'm going to force you to do, like in the beginning, I'm like, hey, let's do chip shots first. Make sure we got it. If I see you the following week, and if you don't get in a range session in between, it's okay. It's only been a week, and if you can get it in, the more you practice, the better. But if you don't get it in, I see you in the following week. And before I try to take it to the next level, I'll be like, hey, let's touch up on the chipping. Let's make sure whatever we talked about is ingrained and you're doing it. And if you kind of go back to your old habit, I could remind you. Right? You're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks, coach. Boom. And then you're back to doing the motion I want you to do. And then we can start building on it consistently. Not where some people, like, I can only see you once a month. But to be honest with you about the once a month, the people that I've seen, the month that I see them the following month, they come to me with the same old swing. The new thing that I work with them didn't click. Or throughout the whole month, they start misunderstanding what I told them, and they'll come back doing some weird stuff. I'm like, that's not what I taught you. Bro, I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
And then you just literally did a month of this weird, your old
Doing some new funky
made
shit.
up swing that you misunderstood. So when I see you consistently, I can kind of get you back on track right away, get you on the tracks, and then also talk to you about the same thing in a different way. To you're like, oh, last week I was kind of confused, but now that you mentioned that, that clicks a little better for me, right? So, that's the best way. Like consistency needs to happen.
Yeah.
I wish we can have this say Band-Aid fix. Hey, one little fix is in a cure. It's not.
No.
Not in golf, man.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Not in golf.
I mean, just like we were talking about before we started the podcast, it's like, you start focusing on one little aspect and then you forget everything else. Like I said, I was focusing too much on my right wrist.
Yeah.
Forgot about my hip.
Yeah.
And so, all that, like we've been talking about, a lot of different variables that go into the golf swing. And so it could easily go out the window. So
that's why that's why, like, if I can see it consistently, like a lot of times I like what I call assessment. Like, so before if you ever come see me, I'm like, hey, let's get I'm just going to have you hit a couple shots, hit a couple 9 irons for me, 7 irons, 5 iron, and kind of record you.
Okay.
See what pattern you've kind of created for yourself.
Right.
And then from there, I can, break down the swing on what pattern you've created for yourself, and then pinpoint areas that needs to get better. Right.
Okay.
So, and even in the beginning, I'll mention, maybe I'm like, hey, I know I talked about 6 different things that's looking off. But then I'll be like, hey, let's focus on more of one thing first, right? Like the root cause.
Right.
Right? And then sometimes if you fix one good thing, it fixes 2 or 3 other things.
Yeah.
So boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a chain reaction.
Yeah, instead of like,
everything.
I know I mentioned 6 things, so I'm going to tell you to do 6 different things at one time. Good luck. So it's one of those, hey, let's work on better grip, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next one will be the max I try to make you work on is 2 at most.
Yeah.
Usually I try to do 1, like, hey, let's get the better grip.
Okay.
And then other will be better alignment. Let's just keep it simple there until that feels more comfortable before I start adding stuff.
Right.
Where you haven't really mastered better grip. Then if I add stuff, then all of a sudden your grip goes back to this, alignment's there. Now you're like, oh, I'm doing the shallow drill. But I'm like, you're aiming 50 yards left, though. Hold up, right? So let's and even simplify that part too. Let's 1 or 2 things at most, right? Because you're already thinking 50 things in your mind. Like, let's break down that list down to like single digits, please.
Yeah, like we were saying, keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah,
Kiss,
man.
No, that's so true. One thing I was going to ask you, and I'm wondering if you incorporate this with your session. So, as we all do, we all pick up little things, and one of the things that I most recently picked up on the last year is golf journaling. So I take a lot of notes on my swing nowadays. So like if I go have a range session, I come back and I was like, ooh, I really like this. I like the feel of what I was doing with my my alignment or with my hands. Do you incorporate that at all in your sessions?
100%.
Yeah,
100%. So always like after the session, like the last 10 minutes, we'll recap. I'm like, okay, what did we work on? And when you're hitting good, what were you feeling? Like, oh, I just felt like, I just kind of paused a little bit at the top. That's boom, pause.
No, yeah.
Because I want you to track what you felt that made you hit it good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's more of, I don't need you to think too technical. My hand, when we start, it's like, what did you feel? What was the feel that you had? Right? So then those are things you can actually take it to the golf course. Like, hey, I'm not thinking about, getting to this position, hands dropping here, weight shifting, rotating. Dude, good luck with that, right? This is what I felt. Let me do that little practice swing feel. And then also, I like do a pre-shot routine. Do 1 or 2 practice swings of what you're trying to feel. And make sure that practice swing without the ball feels good. Make sure it interacts with the turf. Brush the turf properly, and then step over the ball, repeat that swing, repeat that feel, not repeat the swing. You know what I'm saying?
That's really cool that you say that, because I actually just watched this video of Rory. These are really cool videos. I love when he's like, it's him and Tiger just talking golf swing. And he was talking about how he does a lot of work without a golf ball.
Yeah.
Which it seems crazy to me because like, where's the feedback? Like as far as like seeing the ball flight, but it's so true. Like I think like for me personally, like what we were talking about before the podcast, I went and had a hate range session where I'm just smashing balls, but that's not really helping me.
No.
So yeah, really working through feel and like what is it that is brushing the ground?
Like, because I've recorded so many swings where almost without a ball, when you record yourself, you're like, oh my God, my swing looks so much better when the ball's not there, right?
Yeah.
So to rehearse that motion, rehearse that better motion without the ball.
Yeah.
So the more you get your body rehearsing and feeling that motion, hopefully it'll replicate when you're over the ball instead of ball. Because like I'll do drills with some students and then they kind of get to feel first 5 shots just puring. And then the more they hit, it starts going away and their old swing starts creeping in. And then they're like, why is the bad shot happen? Because your bad swing's starting to come back. You haven't ingrained this new motion enough. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's why I always like to say, hey, if we're doing any new swing give me 2 to 3 practice swings. Because if you give me 3 practice swings for every shot you hit, you almost give me 4 good swings, right? Instead of ball, boom. You like, I like to say it's almost like a military, like a PTSD, right? When the ball's there, we get anxious, and then we just think about how bad we've hit it, and we literally do that same swing, right? Because like without alignment sticks and all that, I'm like, okay, at the end of the session, I'm like, okay, let me take all this training out. Here, there's the target, like as if it's a golf course. Boop, ball swing. Because you just haven't ingrained it. And then there's the thing, it's muscle memory. If you don't do this new swing enough, your body's going to revert right back to default mode. It's going to go back to the swing that feels comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
And then like, so when students tell me the swing's starting to feel comfortable too soon, I'm like, no, I don't like that, bro. If it's too comfortable, it means you're probably doing the old same swing. It's got to feel, I like the word different, or, it's going to feel uncomfortable. But then, like I said, you got to make that uncomfortable comfortable by drilling it in or by rehearsing the motion. And ball doesn't have to be there all day. Like there's just times at home, I'm just doing some motion where it's like, club across the shoulder. I'm just rotating so I can get better tilt and I'm just hitting it towards the couch or something. Yeah. Yeah, just so I can have the better rotation and tilts. Just whatever I'm struggling with. Let me just pinpoint that. Even like wrist conditioning, like we're always talking about better flat. Yeah. Dude, I did this. You ever have that like the little clench thing where you kind of squeeze the squeezer? Yeah. Or like the squeezer thing, like it's like a with the spring.
Right.
Dude, I would do that, and then because if you ever do that, it's hard to bow.
Okay.
Yeah. Squeeze and try to do this, it's hard.
Yeah.
But later. But if you do that more enough, just train the wrist, right?
Yeah.
Now, during my swing, this becomes way easier to do.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Break it down to, hey, if you're having a wrist issue where you're cupping all day and you're slicing, work on something that helps you flatten it or bow it or whatever, right? Because remember, we don't need you to bow, but if you're ever a cupper, I need you to feel like you're doing this so you can be flat. I need a flatter wrist. Flatter wrist gets the face square. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then boom, I can square it easier here. Instead of cupped, I got to come over the top or on the way down. Look, I got to flatten it out and then rotate. That's too much motion. I ain't got that much time to. If I'm already flat here, I can just boop. Yeah. Look how easy I can kind of backhand something, right?
Yeah.
Instead of
let's trying to like do it midair.
Let's
like
make
mid-swing.
Life easier for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's just get into better positions.
Man,
yeah,
I'm loving this because you're having me think about all these things that I do. Because like one thing that I've been working on is like trying to get a flatter wrist in the backswing.
But I want you to know the purpose of why we say that, right?
Yeah.
Because if you ever kind of get the club and you're like flatter wrist, gets the face a little more square.
Yeah.
So now it's just already square position, and if you have the better grip and club face awareness, literally I can close my eyes. If my back of my hand is facing target, I know my club face is facing target.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that's because that as you're talking about that, like trying to like
because trying to do column over, it ain't easy, bro. Like I remember like trying to do some videos where I look like Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
I can no. I'll just get to flat. I'm like, damn, I felt like I was doing this.
Like, I'm back here.
So
Yeah.
there's the feel versus real.
Yeah.
That's why golf is tough, right? Because what we think we feel and we record ourselves, it's not real. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the easiest thing is like the overswingers. I'm like, hey, give me like a little half swing. Maybe arms just 9 o'clock. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that was a full swing.
You're back at 6 o'clock over here on the back end.
No, and then I'm like, all right, let's get your arms here. What does it? I feel like my arms are on the ground. Well, feel like your arms are on the ground on the backswing, and then they'll get to the better position. So it's like we need to calibrate ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's calibrate you so that what you're feeling actually matches with what's actually real.
Yeah.
That's the end goal, right? But that's why it's good to have like a teaching pro, you know, an eye that can kind of catch those stuff and kind of reinforce what you're doing. Not, yeah, I thought I was doing it. No,
Yeah.
man, you weren't, right? So
Right. So, you were talking about right now, like recording videos and doing stuff like that and different tips and tricks. And, you know, obviously I'm hoping that we have a lot of followers in the LA area. So
yeah.
probably not going to get a lot of them coming down here,
Hey, man.
but for our San Diego followers.
I got a kid from Pasadena that used to drive down to see me, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So I'm like, so it lets me know. I'm like,
so maybe, yeah, guys, come down.
bro.
Like,
I'm worth it. I'm worth the drive. I like to say.
yeah. No, hey, and you're over at Encinitas Ranch, and I love the ranch. Like that place.
Just
is
the
bomb.
range in itself, dude. You're like, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that spot. But another thing that you do though is on Instagram, you do a lot of like cool tips and tricks. You know, I've been going through them, trying to pick up some stuff on there. What kind of inspired you to go into that side? Because obviously, like being one-on-one and teaching people in person is great, but what led you to doing the Instagram side of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the latest thing, the latest way to market yourself is social media.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I'm doing that more as marketing because I'm telling you, there's a lot of great information online, right? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. But the bad thing about that is there's too much information.
Yeah,
Too much. And as someone that's kind of new to the game, and as much as there's great information, you need to know what information you need. You know what I'm saying? So I even like at points as I give lessons and we work on some and say simple thing as grip. I'm like, hey, now that we know the root issue was your grip, feel free to look up grip, better grip online all day. But at least you're looking at that because we all kind of, if we're teaching right, we all kind of teach the good fundamentals of a proper grip, right? And then kind of go from there. Then it'll just reinforce what I just taught you. So then I'm like, go down the rabbit hole of that. Not rabbit hole of, oh, this guy's shallowing, arms dropping here, elbow tucked here, side bend there. I'm like, good, bro. Right? So it's that, but yeah, and then because sometimes, like when I do a video, even if it helps one person, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
So I'll get some feedback. Oh my God, this little drill that you did, it made me hit things better. So that's even better. But then, you know, sometimes that in itself, they kind of like the little instruction there. That's just like a tip of the iceberg. But they like that, and they're like, hey, I would love to come see you for a real lesson. So they'll reach out and actually come see me so we can dive in a little deeper. Because sometimes I like the more hands-on teaching. You know, there's good online with, you know, good alignment, you know, the camera and all that. It's all good. We can do it. But there's times I like to like get my hands on you and get you into better positions so you know what that better position actually is.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of me just telling you. Because I can tell you stuff, or you could read stuff about it, but it's hard to do what you read. Like, there's times I'm like, yo, man, I must, because like, you know how there's people that has like this weird setup where they're tilted forward, like their spine's going towards the target. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then they have this reverse pivot at the top.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of do like a seesaw motion instead of a rotation.
Yeah.
So when I see that, and then I kind of get them into a better position, like as if it's straight, like I like this little tilt at setup because right hand's lower than the left, right? So if this is hands next to each other, but right hand's a little lower, there has to be this little tilt.
Yeah.
Right? So it has to be tilting away from the target.
Okay.
So this little hip kind of bumps a little forward, and now I'm tilted better so I can just rotate back and through. But when I change a student that used to do this, and they feel this, they literally feel like they're doing this, right? Can you imagine if you're thinking you're doing that? Oh, hell no. But then I'll make them do it, record it, and then they're like, oh my God, that actually looks like what I want it to
It looks like a golf swing.
But I had to feel like my shoulder's about to touch the ground, right?
Yeah.
But know that it's not. So you can start trusting it, right? So
Yeah. That's just crazy about feel. Like, so I still kind of do it, but early on in my golf swing career, everyone said I had a John Rahm.
John Rahm, like a shorter backswing?
I have a super short backswing, and it was a lot of like hip turn and like. And honestly, I wish I could go back to that.
Yeah.
But if you would have asked me back then, like, hey man, like, give me a full swing.
Yeah.
I would have done that and been like, heck yeah. I went, like you said, I'm all the way back here.
I'm John there.
But they're like, no, you really didn't get that far at all.
Damn, dude. I'm a fan of John Rahm swing.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of less is more.
Yeah.
Right? So, because over swinging can kill. The club goes all over the place.
Too much
offline,
room for
offline,
error.
Yeah. And then if you don't time it right, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you do have good timing, make it work. But, there's times we want to murder stuff. So, before we even finish the top of the back, so we're yanking it down, it's over. But the way I would get you back to that 3, or maybe some in between. I like doing drills. What I call we call it Goldilocks drills.
A what drill?
Right? Goldilocks drill.
A Goldilocks.
So if you're an over swinger,
I get it. Yeah.
right? I'm gonna make you swing small, maybe half swing,
Yeah.
and then let's find that happy medium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But before you do, so that's why I'm like, in the beginning, I always like to start small to big, right? So how I'm gonna work with you is I'm like, hey, let's do just drills today where we're doing little half swings, waist to waist swing, boom, right? And just little punch shots. I don't care if it's 10, 20 yards. And then I'm like, okay, now let's bring it up a little higher, right? Let's go a little 3/4 swing. And then from the smaller one to 3/4, it gets easier, not from a full swing, just go 3/4.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm a fan of like the Bryson DeChambeau clock system. Hey, let's let's get to the 9 o'clock lead arm 9 o'clock position. Let's get to the 10 o'clock position. Kind of be more specific with it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So then you can. So it's always easy to build from small to big, not big to just get to half swing or 3/4.
Yeah.
Right. So it's doable to get you back to that 3/4 or even a little bit past 3/4, whatever. So because you can overswing now, so we should be able to find that somewhere in between, that happy medium, right? So it's not like I always like, hey, like even like grip, like some people have too strong of a grip. I'm like, hey, during our session, I'm going to force you to do more of a weaker or more neutral grip. But after the session, in between, we do it enough. Hey, you can kind of find that happy medium. It'll be a little strong, but not too strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's in golf, there's a variance. It's never like it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Even that little slot that we talk about on the backswing, there's a little angle I can draw from shaft plane, arm plane to above shoulders. If you can get it within that little V, you're going to get to the ball easier.
Yeah.
Not you better get here at this angle, right?
Yeah.
So even grip, hey, you don't have to be exactly neutral, right? This kind of wedge is going to the right shoulder. Some can go a little stronger.
Yeah.
Some go a little weaker. It's just all relative to what you end up doing. So, but for me to really kind of get a student to do something newer that I'm trying to make, I can't just incrementally change you. I can't be like, hey, you're strong, like even alignment.
Yeah.
You're aiming 20 yards left. Let's just aim 10 yards left. No, I will force you to aim 20 yards right just for the session, right?
Oh.
And then when I get back to get you to 0, that's way easier feeling. Oh my God, I get this instead of, you know what I mean? Because every time I fight just do incremental, they'll literally just go right back to their old. Yeah. So it's
not a big enough change for them to feel it.
Let me overcorrect you and then get you back to find that happy medium. I like to say. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I need to do that more because I'm definitely a person that I will try to like incrementally change angle and approach. But no, that's a good point.
Because the results, I want just incremental change.
Yeah.
But when I'm working on something, because any incremental change is already uncomfortable. Yeah. Let me get you overly uncomfortable. Yeah. Let me overcorrect you. And then when I correct you, that increment feels a lot easier. Like, damn, this I got this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah, kind of like almost like some analogy I like to use is like the RC cars, right? You know how like over time it just starts going to the right,
Starts drifting over.
and then you look underneath, you're like, you can't just go to the zero. You got to almost make it go further left so it goes straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. That's us as humans. We got to overcorrect so we can go straighter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try that out.
Matches up.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's what's up. Dang, man.
Yeah, dude.
Now you got me thinking about like all these ways, like I'm approach the range and stuff like that, like how I'm gonna practice.
And then if it all goes back, come see me. You know where I'm at. So
yeah,
I can just ensure what you're trying to incorporate gets incorporated properly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the
right on. Someone's got a good swing going on back there on the sim. They're having fun.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, Jason, it's been a lot of fun chatting on the pod.
Yeah.
I got a couple last questions here.
Yeah, man.
We've had a few guys that jumped on the pod. I invited them to be on because I was like, hey, man, we're going to have a
That's
program
rad,
on here.
dude.
Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. So we have a couple of hopefully what is quick fire questions.
I'll try to do quick fire answers.
Try to answer as best you can. But so our buddy Omar asked, this is gonna be a tough one. Man, this is a lifelong mission. How can I hit straighter driver shots? So I guess a better way to ask that is like someone's going to the range and they're trying to work on straightening things out. What's one of the first things that you would advise for someone that can't come and see you?
Okay. So straighter shots, I mean, is he a slicer or a hooker, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Align straighter. So use an alignment stick.
Okay.
Right? Put it down to where you're intending to, try to hit towards. Right? So that when you set up your feet, hips and shoulders can all kind of match up a little better.
Match that line.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then a lot of people that goes all over the place, I'll be like, hey, target's right in front of us. Hit a drive there. And then I'll see them set up. And then once they set up, all I'll do is stop right there. I'll put an alignment stick, and it'll be pointing 50 yards left. How do you hit straight if you're going to aim that far left? That's crazy. So put alignment stick, aim straighter.
Okay.
Right? Just work on aligning straighter so you can kind of, because if you aim straighter, you can swing along the plane way more easier and more consistent because you're set up that way. Not set up to go left, but then you got to go straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So alignment stick first, align straighter, and then once that kind of, then you go straighter, then all of a sudden, then we got to be like, okay, then what's happening? Well, are you hooking it? Are you still pushing and slicing it? Then we'll be like, hey, let's look at the club face, which then will be maybe the grip needs to be stronger, you know what I mean? So you can help square up the face a lot better. But yeah, main things is alignment and better face awareness, squaring up the face better, right?
Okay.
So alignment and grip, maybe.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Alignment and grip, Omar. That's what we got to work on. Next question that we have here, and this is probably going to be someone that's maybe a little bit more advanced in their game. They're trying to get a little rip around the greens.
Okay.
What's a recommendation to generate more spin off wedges?
So there's couple factors, but the easiest one, right, is, fresh grooves. Make sure your grooves are clean.
Okay.
Right? And then the balls that spin better are the more higher priced Pro V1 urethane cover, right? There's the the cheaper, more plasticky feel, and then there's a urethane which almost feels more rubbery or softer. So that in itself, because of the cover, as you hit it, it'll embed into the grooves a little more and spin more.
Okay.
So those are two main things that happens, and then of course, kind of good, consistent flush center contact.
Yeah.
So you gotta just work on that first, and then like even spin. Like what everyday golfer don't know is some of the courses that these pros play on are different greens than what we play on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they have what's called like bent greens. It almost feels like a pool table green. You know how like you can spin those balls?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's a different animal.
Yeah.
So those will react better and check and spin harder, while just some everyday kind of greens that we use won't really check as much or spin as much.
Yeah.
Right? So, don't be too caught up on trying to check it because that's hard to control. Right? I'll be like, hey, just focus on your landing zone. where you want to kind of land it, maybe roll out a little bit. So that's more reliable than, hey, let me fly it next to the hole and hopefully bounce checks. Right?
I'm hoping.
So, yeah. So,
Okay.
And then what's funny is the better you get, the better contact you make, you'll start realizing, damn, you'll see a divot next to the hole, but it's spun off the green. You're like, I wish I didn't have the spin. Right now, we don't want the spin.
That's happened to me a few times. I switched up to some Callaway wedges, and I love them. Yeah. But sometimes I've been getting a lot of spin on them. So I was playing the exec. I must have ripped off of like 4 greens.
Yeah, and then as you'll notice, sometimes when you chip it, you're thinking, I used to chip, land here, and roll. Nope, it just stops. Like, no.
And it comes back. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Release. We always want the opposite of what we do. It's just crazy.
All the time, bro.
Crazy. If you're a slicer, you want to hook it.
Yeah.
You hook it, you want to slice it. It's crazy.
That is crazy to me because I will run into people who they hook it and I slice it, and they're like, man, I wish I could hit your shot shape. I was like, I wish I didn't. I wish I could hit that.
Right.
That's funny. All right, last one here for you is so let's say you're running late to your tee time. You have about 10 minutes to get ready for your round. Yeah. What would you declare is the most important thing to get ready for your round with 10 minutes left?
I mean, ideally, hopefully you did some kind of stretches, right? Okay. Hopefully that you could have done that at home. But the best thing, if you just have 10, I mean, there's that. There's a couple swing aids, with that ball at the end. Just kind of.
Oh yeah, the weighted club.
Yeah, the weighted club. If you can do that, just kind of get the body loose. Or if you can at least go to the range within a couple minutes. Hey, again, just maybe a few wedge and just get some drives and hit some until you hit a shot that you want to see on the first tee.
Okay.
And then so you can at least have that in your visual as you approach the first tee instead of just going first tee being stiff as you can be, and then you automatically, when we're stiff, we're like, hey, mulligans, bro. Breakfast balls on the first.
Breakfast balls are
if friends. It's a bad one, if we're doing breakfast balls, come on, you got it.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Even when you're on the range, the first swing, it's stiff as can be, bro. You're not hitting nothing, so you got to get that body loose somehow. Hey, it's better prepare yourself next time.
Yeah.
All right?
Get there on time.
Or set a better expectation. If you didn't warm up, hey, don't be thinking you're going to be hitting bombs and shooting pars. Give yourself a couple holes in the beginning to kind of use it as a warm up and then go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's huge. Is like giving yourself that grace. Yeah. You're like, hey, I'm already late.
Yeah.
Let's not hold ourselves accountable for the first few. And then after that, let's see what happens. Yeah.
I mean, but if you're ever trying to do tournament mode, you better be better prepared.
Yeah.
You better be showing up minimum an hour earlier and freaking doing the putts, chips, going through a couple irons. You don't want to exert yourself, but you just want to get a good groove and kind of seeing what your swing's going to do. Because I know you've heard, even at the elite level, there's some players they'll naturally drop, but some days they'll wake up and go to the range and they'll fade it.
Yeah.
But if they do that, they're like, that's what I'm going to play that day. They're not going to fight it because that's what the body's making them do. Because, we wake up sometimes stiffer than others, bro.
Yeah.
Right? There's days I feel like Gumby. And others are like, I can't turn. All right, dude.
No, and that's a good point, is like accepting your swing for the day. Yeah. Because I'll run into guys where it's like, I hit it straight, but like today I'm fading. And it's like, okay, cool. Like aim left of the green now. Yeah. No, I should be hitting it straight. It's like, I hate to break it to you, bro. It's not happening today.
Yeah.
So
don't fight it, man.
Figure it out. Yeah. No, that's some great advice. So, guys, for those of you that are watching, or even just listening, there's been a lot of great advice today from Jason. And if you guys are in the San Diego area, or if you're willing to commute in, like the homie from Pasadena, he's over at Encinitas Ranch. Jason, let the people know how can they find you, man? Instagram.
My Instagram is Jason Hong Golf. Or is it PGA? So Jason Hong Golf, but without the A. So JSON.
Okay.
Golf.
We'll put that right here.
Yeah. Put it right there, though. Wait, no. And also, you can go to the PGA website. PGA.org. You'll be able to find me. But I'm at the beautiful Encinitas Ranch. Everyone knows about it. Google it. It's one of the most beautiful courses in the North County.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so beautiful that it gets fully booked. I have a hard time getting out playing there. And I work there. Come on, dog.
No, dude, for real. Like, I'm happy the twilight season's back because that's how I get onto the ranch. I'm just like 5 o'clock. Pay my $50.
Get a couple holes in. Who cares, man?
I'm just enjoying it. Especially, I love the front nine. The front nine for me is like, I love the front nine.
It's is it the more forgiving? Front nine more forgiving?
The front nine's definitely.
Yeah, first hole you can slice it right. You still have a shot to the green.
Yeah, man, I feel like a pro on the first hole. It's like a short par 4, wide open. No, it's a great spot. So, no, Jason, thank you again for being on the pod, and thank you for tuning in, people. And as always, salud, Golferos.
Salud. Hey.